A great morning to you all. Thanks for joining us on a live this morning. My name is Tanti Azal. It is a great day and it is another day to be grateful for what God has done in our lives. And yes, today we'll be starting the program with some of our paper reviews. And I'll be starting with Tribune this morning. On Tribune, we have crude oil theft, Senate to probe security forces, militia groups. And we have Army on page 29. We have Army court sends Major General Mohammed to 7 years in prison, orders refund of $2.1 million. We have Aiyedatiwa appeals as Ondo court strikes out case to hold his impeachment. We also have on the Tribune this morning, we have 5.4 million electorate to vote in Kogi, Imo, Bayelsa State, INEC says. And we also have IMF commends hold reforms in Nigeria. And you will see that on page 7. And we have on page 16, Silva appeals ruling disqualifying him from Bayelsa Guba election. We are on page... We have on page 6 saying Nigerian employer pays over 60 different taxes annually. And on page 5, we have NACO releases 2023 SSCE results, withholds over 12,000 results. Wow. And we have on page 21, it says death toll hit 1,830 as Israel-Palestine war reaches 4 days. And on page 10, we have import volume crashes by 60% at Lagos port. Jobs may be affected. Definitely jobs may be affected. And let's go straight to This Day newspaper. And on This Day newspaper, we have the bold headline there saying, Tinubu's policies paving way for inclusive growth. And we still have on This Day newspaper saying, Silva remains our Bayelsa Guba candidate. And going down to I think this is all we have on the going down, you will see World Bank annual meeting in Marrakech. And then let's go straight to our next paper, which is going to be the Nation's newspaper this morning. And on the Nation's newspaper, we have the bold headline saying growth coming with Tinubu's economic policies. Well, we are all hopeful that, growth is actually coming. And on the page 3 of the Nation newspaper, you will see General jailed 7 years for stealing $2.1 million, which is equivalent to 1.65 billion naira. Well, on page 5, you will find social investment may return to presidency. And that will you'll find that on page 5. And going to page... sorry, let me go there. Going to page 6, on page 5, you will see 19 others await results in Liberia's poll. And then in page 5, still on page 5, you will see Israel at war only with Hamas, says envoy. And that is all we'll be taking in the Nation's newspaper this morning. And I will go straight to The Punch, which is the last newspaper I'll be taking this morning. And the bold headline saying the Naira plunges to 1,025 Naira per dollar. Job losses, factory shutdown loom. And then we have on page 29 saying Senate condemns 2.3 trillion Naira oil theft, probes security agents. And we have on page 22 saying inflation to slow Nigeria's growth to 2.9%, says IMF. And then we see on page 8, we can see flood kills 45, displaces 171,549 persons in 13 states. Wow. If you go down, you will see 18 parties just cite for 5.4 million votes in Kogi, Imo, and Bayelsa. And you will see, if you still check down, you will see on page 29, you will see Army General jailed 7 years, ordered to refund, you know, the same $2.5 million. And another thing, NACO indicts 93 schools for cheating, backlash 52 supervisors. Well, this has been a common norm in Nigeria, where you would see, you know, students being cheating in the classroom is nothing, you know, it is just a normal thing now. But it is good that, you know, some supervisors are being checked in, and, you know, they are being interrogated, so that at last we will know that, you know, we have a government that is actually intentional about everything. If we want our educational sector to have a different face, or to have a different feelings, then we ought to know that there are some measures that need to be put in place. And what they are doing is for them to, you know, make people know that you can't just do things that are wrong and go scot-free. So it is a good thing that, you know, people are being probed for what they have done wrongly. We will take a break, and when we come back, we will start with our trending stories. Hello and welcome to Live News. The immediate past Minister of Youth and Sports Development Chief Sunday Dare, the federal government of Nigeria has taken punitive action against the secretariat. Nigerians have expressed fear over the possible shutdown of businesses and job losses.
See, things are just going higher every day.
For a fact that going from here to Ombalinde before was at 300, but now is at the high side of 700, 800.
The subsidy costs us trillions of naira yearly. Such as a vast sum of money will have been better spent on public transportation, health care, school, housing, and even national security.
Welcome back, and we are going straight to our trending stories this morning. And on the trending stories, the Lagos Police Command has declared Lagos big boy Benjamin, better known as Killer Boy, wanted over the brutal murder of 21-year-old Instagram influencer Augusta Osedium. Killer Boy, a couple of months ago, confessed via his social media that he mistakenly stabbed his girlfriend to death during a misunderstanding, which generated into a fight. Killer Boy said he was ready to surrender to the police and face the consequences of his actions, but never did. Police had also confirmed the retrieval of a suspected confessional note allegedly left behind by Killer Boy, who absconded after the incident. Was gathered that police discovered Augusta's body after her mother reportedly reached her daughter. The deceased mother had received a call from her daughter, an undergraduate at Lead University, Ibadan, Oyo State, on July 11th, that she had a quarrel with her boyfriend and will be going to his place to make amends. In a statement released on Tuesday, the police said that they are declaring Benjamin wanted in connection of the murder of Augusta. And on our next story, we have a casual staff of the Kano State Pilgrims Welfare Board who returned missing $16,000 during the last Hajj exercise has been offered a full-time job. Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State made the announcement while receiving the report of the State Pilgrims Welfare Board for the 2023 Hajj exercise in his office. Yusuf says the casual staff identified as Dayabu Haladu, also known as Danjazawa, was also rewarded with a gift of 1 million naira and an automatic slot to embark on the forthcoming Hajj exercise. The governor says the action of the casual staff shows and he deserves to be celebrated. Yusuf urged residents to uphold the reputation of the state by exhibiting discipline and contentment in order to live a happy life. The governor and the citizens of Nigeria to help consequences, either good or bad. So you decide what you want for yourself. And what this guy did was the absolute best, even at this time. Going next to our next story, we have a 20-year-old man, Onoja Kingsley, on Tuesday was arraigned in a Wuse Zone 2 magistrate court for allegedly raising a false claim that his genitals have disappeared. Kingsley is charged with joint act causing grievous hurt, attempted culpable homicide, theft, and giving fake information to members of the public. He, however, pleaded not guilty to the allegations brought against him by the police. We have talked about so many times where you will see people bringing up false alarms about this very thing. I don't really know why it is becoming a recurrent thing in Nigeria that men would just sit down and just bring up or just try to bring up some kind of stories to distract the police force. And I noticed it is becoming too much these days. Please, we need the police forces need to do something. The forces need to do something so that people will stop doing this thing. It is becoming too much. So kudos to the police, for arresting this guy. And I hope that he is going to go through due process of the law. And on our next story, we have the Federal Capital Territory Administration has commenced a one-week public enlightenment campaign ahead of the implementation of the Park and Pay policy in the metropolis. The Managing Director, ATB Company, Suleiman Adejo, made this known on Tuesday at the Flag Off Sensitization Program in Abuja. Adejo explained that the Federal Executive Council gave the concession of the FCT Park and Pay project to ATB German company on the 17th of May 2022 to provide a culture of orderliness, adding that the initiative will decongest the city and make motoring and more pleasant experience. He therefore stressed that to sensitize the general public about the rules and regulations guiding the policy before its full implementation. He further appealed to residents of the FCT to give maximum cooperation to the Park and Pay marshals and other officials, adding that indiscriminate parking of vehicles on marked areas and walkways will not be allowed once it is fully implemented. The International Day of the Girl is observed annually on 11th October. The day focuses attention on the need to address the challenges girls face and to promote girls' empowerment and the fulfillment of their human rights. Women and girls can lead us to a fairer future. Let us amplify girls' voices and recommit to working together to build a world where every girl can lead and thrive. Happy International Girl Child's Day, and I am so proud to be a girl. In fact, I am really, really proud to be a woman. I don't know what I would have done if God made me a man. Well, I wouldn't change myself, but I am so proud to be a girl. And today is set aside to, appreciate the values of women and to, address some of the issues that women, or let me say a girl child, faces in our generation. Well, we have someone in the studio with us to do this discussion. She is really, really beautiful and she's really looking gorgeous this morning. We have Wemima Adebi. She is better known as Auntie Remy, and she's a counselor and she is also a cognitive behavior therapist. I think I love that. It sounds like a very interesting job to do. To be a cognitive, behavior therapist. You would definitely, that means when you get to see someone, you just automatically know how the person would behave or act or something.
I'm not a mind reader, but it's actually about applied psychology. It's a step higher than being a psychologist. Okay, psychologists tell you what it is. Okay, but the cognitive behavioral therapist, helps you apply what it is. Okay, so it's an application kind of field.
Okay, where we get the problem.
Yeah, we get result. Psychology, gives you the theory, the outcome. But the CBT gives you, helps you apply it. Helps you change the course, helps you navigate your direction, helps you get results, basically.
Talking about that, yesterday was World Mental Health Day. And I'm sure, why didn't we have you so that we could talk about mental health and, some of the characteristics of someone being, mentally disabled or something. I don't know how to put it, but some people, it is said that 60 million Nigerians, if I'm not mistaken, have mental disorders. Maybe you should touch on that before we go to the girl child.
Okay, mental health is different from mental disorder. Okay, every human being carries the mental health, just like you have your emotional health, financial health. Okay. All of that. You have your, physical health. Also, you have your mental health. So every human being carries what we call mental health. However, when it's not aligning, when the hormones, the emotions are not flowing the way it should go, then it becomes, it becomes disorderly. It's not balanced. That's why we call it mental health disorder. So it begins to play out in your behavior, in your health, in the way you view yourself, the way you view people, the way you handle life, the way you handle yourself. It shows something is not aligning. Okay, and mental health disorder is different from mental health illness.
Wow.
So it's broad actually, but we need to narrow it down to the fact that every human being carries mental health. Basically.
All right, we all know that, so we should be careful. We all carry, but you are right, actually. Everyone faces a lot of challenges one way or the other, so definitely you will be having some, sparks here and there mentally. And today is a day, of course, if today is a day set aside to focus our attention on the girl child towards addressing some of the challenges girls face and to promote girl empowerment. Let's start the discussion with some of the challenges, the girl child faces and what has been done and, how effective the measures are.
Okay, thank you very much. I think for me to dive into this topic properly, we need to define who a girl child is, because we have situations where there are lots of mix-up, sexuality issues
Of course.
are coming up basically. So a girl child is actually a biological human female offspring. You were born biologically as a girl, basically, and then the reason we attach the word child means you are under 18. So it's not like 19 upward. That's a young adult. Okay, but a child, generally has it's been defined as UNICEF and all of that. Any female, okay, below 18, you are a child. Then a girl, you were born, okay, as a female originally, basically. So that's how I'm going to define it. Set or rolling.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go straight to the challenges now.
Okay. To talk about the challenges, it's a lot. We have lots. Okay. And you see, when we talk about this girl child, permit me to use that word, I have been able to break it down to say she is a she-human. Okay, she-human, because when we don't ascertain that fact that a girl child is a human being, we would not accord to her fundamental human rights. Okay, and to start with, what are the rights of any human being? Just as you have the male, the female, and all of that, they have the right to protection from harmful influences, from abuse, from negativity. They have right to life. They have right to culture, and they also have right to social life. Right to education, right to all of that. So if the she-human, which is the girl child, is denied of any of those rights or all of those rights, then we are not according the fundamental human right of this gender in place.
Okay, so how far is the commitment of amplifying girls' voices can go so far? We are in Africa, especially Nigeria, where in our Bible, or in its Bible, it is saying the man as the head of the home, and anywhere else. So how do you see the commitment of, voicing out the girl child right, and saying the girl child needs to go to school, the girl child needs to be educated, the girl child needs higher positions? Because most times, even in some offices, you would see that, okay, let me say a woman now, because we are talking about female now, not just the girl child growing up, just the way you said, after 18 you are still a woman. Yeah. Places you go and you see that you are not fully given that right to express yourself. Sometimes when you when there is something you need to put your input, people look at you like, what do you really have to offer? She's a woman. Men are the ones who are, going to take action on this. So how do you think this commitment of voicing, for the girl child is going to go, especially in Africa?
Yeah, to start with, we need to understand the challenges that are militating against the freedom of being a female, okay, which begins with the she-human, And while I was understudying this, I saw that the struggle actually began from the time it's been discovered that a woman is pregnant and you are carrying a she. The first thing they ask you is, what's the gender? Then they keep hoping when you deliver, they still ask, what is the gender? So the categorizing the sexes is one of the main challenge. And when you look at it, we're talking about culture. It's just a cultural belief that says, once this is a girl, then don't expect so much from her and don't infuse so much into her. Don't invest so much into her, because her place is right there under a man. Her place is right there in a home. Her place is right there in the labor room, in the kitchen. Okay, her place is there, and these are the the benchmark that people have put on the she, let me use that word, she human, the girl child, and it has been transferred from generation to generation. However, I'll say that if only we could understand from the definition that whether she's a she human or you want to categorize her as a girl child, she's a human being. So once we're able to ascertain that I am a human being, then accord me the regard and the respect that I have as a human being, basically.
You mentioned some of the things you mentioned. You talked about violence also. You know, when you talk about girl child, you have to talk about gender equality or inequality, and then the gender violence also. I can remember the Minister of Women Affairs talked about an initiative that they'll be having a mobile phone, a mobile court, where people can easily access, you know, the courts and make complaints when such things are happening. And I think it's a really good thing that, you know, this thing is coming at this time where you hear we have so many cases of women being treated in a bad way. And most times when you get to talk to some of these women, and you understand what is happening in the family, it still goes back to the fact that men are being seen in Africa as the head of the home. They feel, and some men, it is more like they overuse the power and make a woman too, like he subjects his wife to nothing just because she's a woman. He sees her as, you know, some of these women and their husbands don't even sit at home and talk normally. They feel like, why should I sit down and have a conversation with you? You're just in the home to give birth to children and do what I'm asking you to do. And when you try to initiate a little bit of conversation or romance in it, it becomes a problem. Like you will hear a very silly excuse that a man has to beat up or to, you know, be violent on women. What other, you know, measures or what other things have been done to make women have the sensitization or to make women, you know about self-defense? It is not only you to sit down. You know, most times they tell us that you are the woman. And you know, our parents, they always, and that is why they always compare us, the young women, to our older parents, because they say they were tolerant, they were, you know, they persevered, they had the energy, they had the strength to take whatever men brought to them. But it is time we understood that women cannot be just, you know, anything you want them to be. Everyone has the feeling. We have the right to live and the right to express, the right to love, the right to all those things. What makes you think we are less of a human? So what are the things, you know, that have been put in place for women to know about self-defense, not just, you know, curing yourself after what has happened? What about protecting yourself before it happens?
Okay, thank you very much. You see, the major culprit, when you talk about women, okay, a woman did not evolve. It did not, you know, suddenly arrive becoming a woman. You evolved from the girl child, childhood, and everything. And from what you were saying, I could pick that the two major things that are militating against, you know, the girl child actually are, you know, categorized as sexual abuse and girl child marriage. Okay, because a child who is not allowed to go to school, all right, will definitely end up in that, you know, when you talk about girl child marriage and all of that. And it's that same girl child marriage that would push and force this individual becoming an unprepared woman, a disempowered woman. Okay, and at the end of the day, the window where this individual ought to have been empowered, trained, educated. Now, when we talk about education is different from schooling. Okay, we believe, you know, schooling is a regular 4 walls, but education is more about empowerment, the exposure of the abilities of the girl child to her, you know, how she could stand up to speak for herself before ever reporting any case, you know, how to manage herself. Now, before the girl child became a woman, okay, there is the possibility that her self-esteem may have been battered by virtue of the journey she was made to go through. So it's not just about saying we're empowering women. Let's focus and go back to empowering the girls, okay? Their identity is very important. The question is, who is actually embracing the girl child today? The girl child today is all over the place looking for identity. You want to change your look, all right? You want to change your body shape. You want to have a sense of embrace. You want to prove a point. And that's why you discover that a lot of these girls are right there on the streets. Okay, I don't want to call them the name people call them, but it's never their fault. It's a cry for something inside that took them outside. And that's why if that thing is not taken care of, it's going to metamorphose into womanhood. And the same struggle continues. The same woman gives birth to a child that she has nothing to give back to. So you are running a circle where disempowerment is actually the issue we're dealing with. So sexual abuse and early child, let me just use the word child marriage. Those are the two major things. So if you are talking about empowering a girl child, okay, into the womanhood, you need to make them understand that you own your body. You own yourself to some extent. As much as you still need to be protected, you need to be fed, you need to be cared for. You have, what we call the responsibility to yourself. Empower the girl child to be street smart, to understand the signs. Don't fall for anything. Sweet tongue, gift, and then embrace, because in the society we are today, an average man believes that a girl child needs to be given to be taken. Okay? Give her this, a token, then you will take her. So you have to sell the true self-worth of her person to her. Okay, it goes beyond that. So when we talk about women and all of that, let's go back. Okay, because you discover that a lot of the women we see today were battered during their growing as a girl. Some have been victims of rape. We call them survivors. They didn't get help, and yet they patched the emotion till the point that they got married, they started raising kids, but they are still empty within. And we have a lot of them in town today.
We do have. You just reminded me of someone I know. Recently she was pouring out her mind to me, and she was like, all the things that she's going through right now, it is from her father. When he was married to her mom, they didn't stay long, they separated. So he now married another woman. He gave birth to some children, same girls, of course, with another woman. But he kept on telling her, you are not smart. He kept on telling her so many things. Your younger sisters are better than you. And mind you, they are not from same mother. And she started feeling like the father didn't love her enough. Sometimes she has to go do house girl job from her aunt's place before she could be able to pay her fee. And we did not even know all these things. We did not know that she was struggling that way until after everything. She sat me down and she was telling me all those things. She was really crying. I noticed it that anytime we go out, when people are talking, she'd be like, you people are the smart ones, I beg. Me, I don't know anything. And I told her, I said, calm down. I have noticed it. You always say this. And I believe in positivity. And I also know that negativity works for me to believe in positivity. If you keep telling yourself that you don't know anything, trust me, you will never know anything. And even if the little you know, you open your mouth to tell people I don't know anything, immediately it dissolves. They don't see you as anything because you have said it yourself. Then she started telling me about how her father used to talk to her, and it grew in her. She started telling herself that she did not know anything. So what do you have? I'm sure you are a behavioral therapist. So I'm sure you can have, something to say.
You see, the girl child suffers mostly from low self-esteem. You know, and apart from the issue of maybe separation, divorce, you know, abandonment, child neglect, and all of that, that could also puncture the esteem of a girl child. The negative words, which is categorized under emotional abuse, okay, verbal abuse, punctures the esteem of the girl child. The reason is female generally are known to be more emotional. We have ears for words. Okay, people believe that the way to our hearts, you know, is not through our mouth, it's through our ears. If you tell me I look beautiful, I'm going to pay attention to it. If you tell me something sweet, but my cognitive, you know, will switch in your direction, sort of, you know, indirectly, unconsciously. So if you keep telling me I'm not smart, I'm, you know, all those derogatory words, my internal cognitive, you know, would go in that direction. And when I see any individual, I will readily believe, because the word has a way of channeling my belief in that direction, and that belief will end up affecting the way I see myself. Now, depending on my personality, if my personality tends towards being aggressive, I will become a fighter. I'll get upset at any little thing. And I'm not angry. It is not about you. It's about something in the past that has always been said to me and that I am reacting to. And it will look like you are the problem. No, it's the past. So the low self-esteem issue is what the girl child is dealing with today. And that's why the girl child wants to make statements with her life. Okay, she's joining cult today. Okay, she's joining the big girls gang today. She's into, you know, substance abuse because an esteem has to be boosted. It's, you know, so there are a lot of things that the esteem, or you know, things that the girl child has gone through over time is making her get into vices and stuff. So how do we correct this? Let's switch, okay? In place of the norm, start doing the abnormal thing. Things you would not do for the girl child before. Change your mindset. A girl child is not an object for sexual satisfaction. A girl child should be educated. A girl child should be empowered, should be cared for, should be protected, should be loved. And this is not just about the other gender. Okay, we have a situation where the girl child at times also militates against the girl child too. So you believe in me, I believe in you, we couple energy, and then we empower one another to become who we should be. When we start doing that, it's easier for the girl child to actually become more empowered and fuse into her rights. There is a place where you can actually earn your right because you have been empowered within. But there is also the place where you feel you don't deserve your right, because you have been disempowered. But when we start doing things right, the potentials of the girl child will come on board naturally.
And you know, I always say how proud I am to be a woman, because we are supernaturally, you know, powerful. Like, women are really powerful. Sometimes when I hear about how, you know, women are not seen equally as men, of course we know that men have the rights to their respect and all.
Can I come in there?
Yeah.
We can never be equal.
Of course we can.
You know why? Because the energy I carry, okay, is, they permit me to use the word, seem to be a bit too powerful for them. So, when, you see, what we say is, what people see in you that make them maltreat you is not about the physical, it's about something in you, okay, that challenges their ability. So the only way to make the other person feel superior is to silence that energy in you. So you should say, no, I'm powerful, I'm strong, I've got potentials. However, I'm not going to use it arrogantly, because the girl child also has the tendency, okay, to go in that direction. But it's not her fault. She's, crying out for something and trying to be assertive in the negative direction.
And of course, it makes you defensive because you're feeling like you're not being given the chance. And since you want to make a statement, you have to come with your full force. And sometimes it is more like, okay, you're coming too defensive. But we should know that our culture doesn't really allow us to express ourselves. And that is why sometimes we come too powerful. Well, we've said it, we are powerful people. It is time for us to know that we have this thing in us and we need to let it out. Wherever a woman is, trust me, you will see difference. There's growth. There's like it's just so different. So women are powerful.
So also, wherever you have a damaged woman, that environment will never be the same.
It will never be the same, and that is why we need to pay attention to. You mentioned the girl child even before becoming a woman, because if you have spoiled it, it is difficult. I have seen women whom at this stage, when I look at them, I'll be like, at this stage you are like this. What really happened?
I deal with empathy and sympathy, because I look at myself, I'll be like, I could have probably turned out this way, okay? But I was able to find, and then I'm also using the opportunity to raise children, pupils, students, any child around me, okay? You must think differently. You must behave right, okay? You must do things the way it should be done. You must bring on your potential, your abilities. Your esteem must be at par, okay? You must be able to take charge of you without someone taking over your life.
Of course. And that takes us to how sometimes some people blame some people for what is happening in their life. And if you keep blaming other people for what is happening in your own personal life, I don't think anything is going to happen differently. What you need to do as a girl child is for you to know that you have the right to do some certain things. You have the right to take decisions. And what type of decisions are you taking? Are they good for you? Are they bad for you? Are you going to take whatever decision you want to take and end up faulting other people for what is going on in your life? I don't believe in that. I don't subscribe to the thought that you will sit down and blame any other person for what is happening in your life. Take charge as a woman. Take charge of your life. I don't want it to be like you are into substances because someone is making you feel unhappy. And most times it is like that. You see some women going into so many things because they feel like, I cannot take it. And there are people who they say their shock absorber is not, so strong. It doesn't really hold them. And when I talk, they say like, it's because you are a strong person. Why can't you be strong for yourself? We know that everybody cannot be that strong. But let's talk about this strength in women. Why is it that sometimes people feel like, I cannot take it? I know that some people's will is not that strong, but why? I feel like it is time we talked about how you should just take the wheel of your life so seriously that whatever comes your way, you'll be able to find a balance. I don't really know. Sometimes when I talk about these things, they say it's because you are a strong person, but I'm just feeling like, if I'm a strong person, why can't you also be strong? And they say, stop saying it that way, you will not understand. Please let me understand.
You know what, when we talk about emotions, you talk about energy, you talk about hormone, every human being carries negative and positive, okay? But when you are empowered, you're educated. When you are enlightened, you know what energy to bring on. Okay? Now, what you're talking about is resilience. Every human being has what it takes to be strong, to be resilient, to stand, to face the tough times. However, if you have not been empowered, educated, there is no way to know how to switch when things are not going on correctly. And still this boils down to disempowered. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So once an individual knows that, okay, this is how to handle this, this is how not to deal with it, it gives you that balanced view of to life. Whether things go on well or don't go on well, you are in between, you are balanced. Do you understand? Without having to flow in this direction, let me try this, maybe this will work, without having to go in, oh, I actually tried it and it worked. But you would know what to do per time. And even when you don't know what to do, you will still be standing.
Of course, I totally believe in that, which means I was actually even right, you know.
There are times we do things, we do the right thing without having to know that we're doing the right thing. It tells that the ability is in me to do the right thing and to do the wrong thing. It does depend on how sharpened my cognitive abilities are, my strength, my energies, my education is, for me to know which exactly it is I've switched into.
Oh, well, okay. Lastly, what do you have to say to the girl child now? Today we are celebrating the girl child. So before we go, maybe you have some words, you know, or two to say to the girl child.
While I was coming, I thought about it. I said the girl child is a winner anywhere. My mom had 3 girls, and then she used to feel she doesn't have children yet.
Really?
We have women like that.
My mom had 4 girls.
You know, but the truth is, it's not about the gender. You know, when I was defining it, I said it's about a she-human. You are a human being, okay? You are complete. You are whole. You are good. You are fine. Okay, your gender, you know, is after your purpose. As a girl child, discover your purpose. It's going to help you to channel your life in a positive light. So you're a winner. You're not a loser. Regardless of whatsoever you may have gone through, you can still pick up your life from where you are right now and make something good out of it.
Of course, and one of the things I've picked from what you just said as we close is, as a girl child, discover your purpose. And trust me, we need to discover our purpose. And if we don't discover our purpose, there's no way we can move on with life. So that is actually a very good one. Thank you very much, Auntie Remy, for coming, and we really appreciate you. And I hope that we'll still have you, you know, on the program so that we can talk about mental health, because you said it's actually a very broad topic, and I would want us to really talk about it. So we'll bring you here so that we can talk about mental health. For now, this is all we have for you. Thank you very much for watching ATM this morning. And of course, if you don't know what ATM means, Alive This Morning. Yes, thank you for watching. We'll see you on Friday. Bye-bye.